guys, we are here. We're going to react to Gem Reviews, I think his name is. Hang on. Gem Reviews. Where he's gone through, and I've started watching some of this video, but I got to about 4 minutes, and that was about it. There's a lot of clickbait, a lot of nonsensical arguments. So let's break it down.
I told you guys before, and you wouldn't listen. When people were overhyping 323, it's gonna be the biggest, bestest, coolest thing ever in the history of video games, I said wait and see what they actually deliver and when they deliver, because this is something we've seen a number of times before already, and it's always the same damn thing. They over-promise and under-deliver.
Right, so his argument is, right, is that 323 is overpromised, under-delivered, that CIG have cut things from 323. Right? That's his argument. So, we can actually check this. Right? We'll just simply go to the Discord, bring up the patch notes, and find out exactly what is in the Star Citizen patch notes for the Eva Cardi. Now keep in mind, this is Eva Cardi, let alone like the live, right? So things are still being added. So here we have testing focus for today's patch notes for the Eva Cardi was stability, right? Obviously. Full character customizer revamp, mobiGlas rework, star map, interior maps, EVA tier 2, new looting screens, new visors, full FPS combat refactor, backpack reload, ammo repooling, dynamic crosshair, physical shop UI, server crash recovery. Take that one and the first one out because, yeah. And, although even server crash recovery was also teased, but say that was teased in 322, right? All this here is in the 323 patch that was promised. The things not ready for testing is master modes, Pi and Piss, freight elevators, hauling missions, reputation-based hostility, and more. Now, as someone mentioned in the comments for my video this morning, there's no mention of the ground facilities, the distribution centers, but they were in a previous patch. So we're not sure, obviously I'm not Eva Cardi, we're not sure if they're there and they're finished or if they're just not part of the testing focus or whatever it may be. It does say and more down the bottom here, so they could be a part of that, we're not quite sure. But the only thing I can think of that's not on this list, or that we haven't heard is coming in 323, that we've heard that's coming in 323 that's not on this list, is the loot system, like the inventory, like the loot machines. But we know that's supposed to be coming. So it might be a part of the and more, or might actually be part of the inventory system. And there was something that they mentioned was not going to make it for 323 for the freight elevators. I think it was the ability... Was it the ability to bring up vehicles in the freight elevators or something? I think that was something like that. So when you sit here and you say things like, I was right, look at all the stuff that's been cut from 323. What the hell are you talking about, bro? Exactly what are you saying? Because I don't know what you're talking about that's supposedly being cut that's not available or that we've known for definite is not going to be in 323 except for that one thing. And I think it was like something to do with the freight elevators, I think it was. I'd have to look up through the previous announcements. And we knew about that months ago. So when you sit there and you go on about, hey, look, I told you, it was all going to get cut. What exactly are you referring to? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. But maybe you could tell people what's missing in 323. Let's see.
Overhype, and then the results, what you can actually go and play, it's really no different from what you've been playing all along.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's no different. No different than what you're playing already, Yeah, okay. Sure, bro. Yeah, like salvage wasn't added to the gameplay or any of that sort of stuff, right? It's no different than what you're playing. Sure.
Just a little bit of something. A little graphic here. A little different weapon there. I mean...
A complete new game loop. Oh. Wait, that actually happened. It's called salvage. Like, not only that, but they've also gone through and updated the space stations. Like, I don't know how long this guy's been playing Star Citizen. I've been playing for about 3 or 4 years. 4 or 5 years, actually. It's hard to tell because I actually deleted my account and remade a new one because I wanted to restart a whole new package and I didn't realize I could do it. So there was like a year before I went through and officially started my account because this is the second account. I deleted everything off the first package. I've seen massive changes. There was actually a YouTube video that was put up, I think it was a couple of days ago actually, and it was the difference in Star Citizen from 313 to 323 or 324. And it shows the scale of how much things have changed over the previous years. Just off the top of my head, we've gone from only having hangars, which I didn't get to see. I've saw the hangars working, but never got to saw just only hangars. I got in at like 3.23 or 3.03, I think it was. It was literally right after the 3 patch. And basically what I saw was we went from Port Alazar and Astra Armada, which was like the refueling repair space station that you couldn't enter, to having massive space stations all around the solar system, new game loops, new bigger cities. Like, they've just literally gone through and reworked Hurston. And this guy's like, it's a little graphic here, and it's a ship here, and it's like, or a whole new city. But you don't want to mention that.
Even that is something we haven't seen in years. But I'm glad...
Dude, salvage was last year! What the frick are you talking about? You're full of it. You're full of shit, bro.
That Salty Mike pretty much says the same thing. Take a listen.
Stick with the...
Every time someone says pretty much saying the same thing, it's because they don't. If he was saying the same thing, he would say, he said the same thing. But when you turn around and you say, he pretty much says the same thing, well...
one patch ahead, but they will, I guess, or I hope they will use the progress tracker to...
Hope. That word always about hope.
Why?
Yeah, because he's talking about it from a customer's point of view. We are hoping that they will go through and show us what they're planning to do. By the way, spoiler alert, here they're actually talking about 1.0. Not 3.23, but regardless. Yes, we are hoping that they will give us some information because guess what? It hasn't happened and we're not fortune tellers. We're not psychics. All we can do is hope that they'll give us information. Because obviously that's what we want. And we hope to pray that we get that. That's literally what he means. It's not a big thing, bro. I literally turn around and say, boy, I hope I go and do my shopping tomorrow. Everybody uses the term hope for something.
I point out the long-term plan. And this changes all the time, so isn't really accountable.
Is that in reference to the 1.0 roadmap that they're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
I think they're working on that, and they maybe paint like broad picture, but I think that was a thing Mike said. Hopefully they don't go back to that.
What does
I don't
this
know.
do? What does it do? What's the point?
I mean,
Don't ask me.
it tells us what their goals are for a release, right?
Get goals. How many years? It's not just the goals that never actually come true.
The goals do actually come, bro. This is the point. They do come. Do they come fast as we want them? No. Do they take a long time? Yes. But they do actually come. Like, this is the problem. If you're going to be intellectually dishonest about things, it's going to make any valid point that you do have actually make you look like you're an idiot. If you sit there and you scream, it's like the wolf that cries wolf, right? It's the boy cries wolf. If you sit there and cry wolf, 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 and it doesn't turn up, and then the wolf actually turns up, and you sit there and you cry wolf, guess what? People don't believe you anymore because you've cried wolf so much. You are doing the same thing. You are intellectually dishonest where you're trying to make points. Like, for example, nothing new's happened in years. But then if you do have an argument for something, even if it is a small argument, then at the end of the day, no one will take notice of you because we have already realized that you're full of shit when it comes to the first point.
Ooh, it's not the 4.0 that all of a sudden we don't talk about. We don't talk about 4.0. We now talk about 323.
Star Citizen mentioned, CIG mentioned 4.0 late last year. Or early this year. Are they focusing on the 1.0 patch? Yeah. But they also mentioned about how they're going to go do, and by the way, they've started doing it, static server meshing. With solar systems. We literally had this in the PTU, like the ePTU for the Evocati, where they could jump between solar systems. Remember that progress you said they don't make? So at the end of the day, this is literally the 4.0. Your argument is that they're not focusing on the 4.0 or talking about the 4.0 so much, so now they're focusing on the 1.0. Because guess what? After the 4.0, it's going to be the 1.0. It's the next major milestone. What's your beef here? What, that CIG are looking forward to or looking towards having a full product release? That's your argument? I suppose if you sit here and you get a whole bunch of views off hate viewing, then you're going to be up the creek without a paddle because how many times have you claimed that CIG is not going to release a full game?
But 323 will not have what 323 said it would have. But then we jump.
Okay, you keep saying that, but you have not provided any receipts to prove that. In fact, I've done the opposite by showing you this. This is the stuff that's in the 323 branch of the the Evocati PTU, by the way. Not even the full PTU, not even the full release. This is the testing focus. It's looking like a complete list to me, bro. I don't know what you're... Like I said, apart from that one thing that was on the freight elevators that they told us about a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever it was. What exactly is missing off this list? And like I say, this is the PTU for the Evocati. Things are still being added. You know, we got the EVA, we got the interior maps, you know, star maps, the Mobi-Glass rework, the full customizer revamp, ammo backpacking, pooling, ammo backpack reloading. What exactly do you think is missing from 323? I'd love to know because you don't actually say. Well, you haven't yet anyway.
Into 1.0, and then it's going to be months or maybe a full year hyping about 1.0, and they do this time and again, and people keep falling for it. It's
because 1.0 is a major milestone. Oh, they go, this guy doesn't understand anything to development. There are going to be smaller patches along the way. When we get to 4.0, it's the next patch is not going to be 1.0. Right? They're going to go through, they're going to release 3.23, maybe 3.24 or 4.0, depending. And then there might be a 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. Yes, there might be 12 or 18 months or God knows how long between final release 1.0 and 4.0. There might be a better time frame there, guys. Just warning you now. 4.0 is not the final release of Star Citizen. This is your argument. Wow.
Insane.
That are all going to change.
No, that's the thing. The last time we had that was like pre-2020. It's been a long while since there's been a remotely concrete, but not necessarily accurate. Concrete, like idea of what CIG want the release to be, and that's obviously been a very deliberate, like, you know, we're going to stop telling you because we're probably going to come up with more features next month. And that it is something we need to know. The problem is, it won't be accurate. And
no, because they keep on lying. It was sand.
No, dude, it's not that they're lying. It's the fact that things change. Things are required upon other things. I'm renovating my house, which is why this whole computer setup has been moved into the spare room. My study is currently being renovated. I am repainting the walls, I'm replacing the carpet or putting carpet down the floor, replacing the sliding doors, blah, 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 blah. Now, also on the house, I want to put in bifold doors, right? I'm not going into photos or anything like that because it's doxing, but I want to put bifold doors in on one side of the house. I need to cut out the bricks to use for blocking up another window that I want to use. So there's another door on the other side. I want to take that out. I want to brick that up halfway, put in a window, and then the bricks I get from the bifold that I'm putting in on the other side, I can use for that window. What I'm getting at is that there are prerequisites. It's the same with development. It's the same with any software or any coding. For example, I'm building a website for my own personal business. I am going through and buying a whole bunch of code that is for APIs, for setting up for apps and stuff like that. I'm going to have to go through and redesign the admin section of that site that I'm buying so that I can then put in all of my extra stuff. The code that I'm doing now is not necessarily a waste because a lot of it will be copy pasted over, but there is going to have to be a mass amounts of changes because at the end of the day there's always different tables, there's different MySQL tables or whatever it may be. There are things that you need in order to do other stuff. It's the same with game development. For example, you want to bring in, let's say you want to bring in snowstorms. Okay, well, what do you need to do that? Well, obviously you know you need the still effects, VFX, right? Easy. But you also need the things like the weather system. The weather system needs to be able to go through, so that's another module you need to build. That other module for that weather system has to control things like altitude and temperature and high and low pressures and blah, blah, blah. You also need winds, right? So that's another system that has to get built. So when you turn around and you say like, hey, we're looking at bringing snow into the game. Yeah, you are. But all these other systems need to be built on top of that so that you get that final view. This is what people who presumably have not done a day of life for coding in the time know nothing about. They don't know any about this. It's the same as Salty Mike. Don't get me wrong. I like Salty. I buy him a beer. But at the end of the day, he's not a programmer. He's even admitted this. He doesn't do code. He doesn't know how to code. They don't know this sort of stuff because they've never done any of it.
Sandworms. A decade ago. Do you see any sandworms?
The sandworm is on Lyria, dude. That's the only place that we know that has a sandworm. The reason we don't have sandworms isn't because creatures aren't coming into the game in 3.23. By the way, there's two. But at the end of the day, sandworms would be easy to bring in if now that we've got creatures and stuff coming in. The reason we don't have the sandworm is because we don't have Lyria. It's Lyria 3, I believe. So, yeah, that's the reason why we don't have sandworms. It's not because of the fact that they lied and they're never going to bring them in. It's because they don't have the planet for them. Once again, prerequisites. You need to bring in a sandworm. Okay, that's the final result. What do you need? Well, you need AI modeling. Okay, now that we've got that coming in now, which is great. Now, what else do you need? Well, you need the planet that they're going to go around on. At the moment, they don't. Now, look, don't get me wrong. The whole sandworm presentation at CIG, at SitCon, I think it was like 2018, 2017, whatever it was, 2016. It was Fuju. It was fake. Sure. Yeah, it was. And it sucks that was. Doesn't mean they're not bringing in the sandworms. Yeah, and now that we've got creatures coming in, like I said, you supposedly say there's no progress in years. Creatures coming in 3.23. So at the end of the day, yeah, that's
I'd like no. It is. It's so obvious. It's just part of the sales strategy. It's just part of the marketing, actually.
It's so obvious. I'm just not going to give you any examples of it. That's your argument?
This is marketing. They talk and they get the buzz going and people and channels.
Dude, it's literally 1.0 for marketing, is to talk about things and get buzz going for it. This is literally what marketing does. Your argument is CIG is good at marketing. What?
Not all of them are as honest in terms of acknowledging what it is, which is just sales strategy, which is hyping things that they never planned on actually doing. But, I mean, why not? Let's talk about it instead of actually have something we can enjoy and play.
What the hell are you talking about? How do you know they're not planning on bringing it in? I imagine this is probably the guy that was one of the guys that was saying like 3 years ago that server meshing was not possible, I suppose. We'll have to look through his videos.
I don't think that's a problem, but it will be a problem sort of publicity-wise, because people will treat it as gospel.
Oh, and blaming people that believe what they say. Yeah, it's your fault for believing what they keep on telling you and then don't actually fulfill. Yeah.
Once again, you say they don't fulfill it. What are you talking about? Give us examples. You're making blanket statements and not actually going through and actually giving an example of what you're talking about.
That's rich.
Yeah. Let's see how they communicate it this time, and hopefully they learn from their mistakes.
How they communicate on this, the good old miscommunication problem. CIG.
This is the thing that bugs me about people like him, is that they complain about the miscommunication that CIG has, right? Is CIG the best company in the world for communication? No. Is CIG one of the better companies for communication in the world? Yes. You're probably going to laugh when I say this, but they are. We have a whole game being developed where most, there's at least 2 videos that come out a week. Right? We're getting hundreds of videos a year where they're basically going through, we're getting probably 80, 100 videos a year where they're going through and they're outlining what they're doing, what they're bringing into the game, blah, 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 blah. And those videos, one of them's a 15-minute video where they show stuff, and the other's an hour-long video where they talk about stuff. This is not including any of the monthly updates, the Squadron 42 reports, the PU reports, the letter from the chairmans that we get occasionally. Like, this is all the stuff that we get from CIG, not mentioning that there's also a forum where you can post and blah, blah, blah. Right? One of the other games that I absolutely love playing, Helldivers, for Democracy, is at the end of the day, didn't even know the game was coming out. The patches that are coming up, they've just had a major patch drop for Helldivers for 1.01, I think it was. The only reason we know about it coming out was because it was released and they put out the patch notes. Now, obviously, there's a difference between the two companies. Star Citizen relies on crowdfunding. They need that funding. They need that buzz, as you said. So they need to keep up to date with letting people know exactly where it is, because they can't wait a month or 2 months or 3 months or 12 months before coming out with details, because people would stop funding the project. I love Helldivers. I'm not crucifying them for it. But at the end of the day, when you sit there and you claim that CIG's communication is terrible, yeah, I'm like, bro, like, are you going to sit there? Are you going to criticize like COD or Battlefield for being way worse? No, I doubt you would.
I mean, it's just one of these tiny little billion-dollar companies. They just don't know how to communicate. It's not that they purposefully lie and deceive.
They do know how to communicate. They are communicating. This is the problem. You've built the premise of they're a billion-dollar company that don't know how to communicate on the fact that you're assuming they don't know how to communicate. They do know how to communicate. Have there been steps and blunders along the way? Yeah, sure. Anybody remember Jared in his beard for 3.0? But at the end of the day, they do know how to communicate, and they're probably doing a better job at it than some of the other companies all around the world. They are sure as hell doing a better job than most of the companies for like any of the major companies. But, you know, I suppose if you bring that up or talk about that, then it kind of proves an argument wrong for you, doesn't it?
And hype things they don't never plan on actually doing. No, it's just miscommunication. How many years do they plan on using the same excuse?
Just don't communicate it. Just make the game and then release it when you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
It's like pretty simple.
Yeah. Maybe they need
make the game and release.
The problem is if they do that, then people will complain because they're not communicating. We hear people arguing that they're not communicating enough. And then the same argument is don't communicate at all, just make the game.
Salty, I'm sorry to inform you that no, there's no intention of developing, let alone finishing, any game here whatsoever.
Do you hear that, guys? Hot take. There's no plans to finish this game. We've got them announcing a 1.0 roadmap or the roadmap to 1.0. Them actually talking about what they need to have a viable product to be released, but they're not planning on releasing it. It's all Fuju, guys. It's not going to happen. It's like server meshing. All these people that claim that server meshing was never going to be a real thing, you know, that all of a sudden are eating all their words.
In case you haven't noticed.
they need the, I don't know, the feeling that they work towards a goal, and it's...
We're really talking about feelings now, about CIG's feelings.
No, dude, oh my god, that was so... Like I said, this is where you get intellectually dishonest. He's saying that at the end of the day, as a company, they need goals so that they can sort of like push their staff to do stuff, so that they can motivate their staff. Oh my god, having goals for $1 billion company is wrong, people. Please don't do that. Aimlessly drift in space. Don't have goals.
Maybe, I don't know, communicate it out, I don't know.
Like, here's why
they need... Yeah, go.
But by the way, we're at 5 minutes in, and he still hasn't given an example of what's not in 3.23. Just saying.
Here's just why I posed the question that's below us on the screen. It is, we are in an Evo patch in April now, essentially, that is missing wild amounts of the content that are in the cards. And
Okay, so maybe Mike can tell us what's missing exactly from the cards.
And of the content that's in there, none of it is even remotely what people would expect it or want it to be like.
There you go.
Outside of
There you go. I mean...
Okay, a blanket statement, yet again. What exactly is not on there? Give an example. right? Presumably Mike is Evocati tester, even though recently he admitted he didn't get much time to play the Evocati patch. Maybe he'll be able to tell us exactly what is not there. We'll see.
I said it months ago. Now you actually see it, because it's not I don't have a crystal ball, guys, hitting some. They always do the same thing. You have to be an idiot to not see the same mechanic, the same pattern repeating time and time again.
Oh, I'm seeing the same pattern repeating. You make a blanket statement, you don't back it up. What exactly is missing from the patch? I'd love to know what exactly is missing. Keeping in mind, by the way, it's still an Evocati patch. They're still adding stuff. So, what exactly are we missing? I don't know. The patch, guys, it looks kind of full to me. I don't know.
I mean, we will play, we will enjoy what we have, but let's admit that you're not going to be seeing any new gameplay here. I mean, fingers crossed they do change, but you cannot.
Hang on, new gameplay? There was no new gameplay promised in this patch. This patch was about bringing the 3.22 version of Star Citizen up to the 1.0 version of Squadron 42. Bringing in all the new HUD, bringing all the new UI, bringing in all the new mechanics, like, for example, the EVA and stuff like that. That's what this was patched. This patch was not about gameplay. Although I do think there is gameplay, because I think you can hunt the animals, the two creatures that are in the game.
Expect someone to do something different when year after year they keep repeating the same thing, which is talk about things they never actually end up doing.
Few features. So they did the same thing that they're doing with this 1.0 and hyping everything up. Like, this is the biggest patch we've ever had.
But we still haven't heard from either of these two what exactly is not in the patch. Look, maybe Mike has been sitting there playing hours off stream. Maybe he might be able to tell us what exactly is not in the patch. But we're still waiting for that. We gotta just take your word for it that they're not in
any other patch, right?
And by the way, he didn't say it wasn't in the patch. He said it's just not what people would expect it to be in the patch.
To me, if it went to PTU today, it would look like 320. That's what it would look like. It doesn't like, there are big major things in there. Okay, there were big major.
Okay, Jem, you gonna say anything?
Things in 320 that were cool to check out, right?
Oh, wait, he didn't comment that. So Salty Mike has literally just said there aren't big changes in 323. But what he's talking about is the fact that apart from like UI and stuff like that, there's no major gameplay. Okay, but that's not what we were promised for 323. It's like you're buying a car. I just brought my car, so it's going to be an analogy I'm going to use. You buy a car, right? And you buy say a Toyota Corolla, right? Or a Camry. And you walk up to the car yard and you're like, what's this? And they say, it's your Toyota Camry that we promised. And you're like, no, I wanted the RAV4. And they'll be like, but we didn't promise you the RAV4 for this price. We promised you the Toyota Camry or Corolla. But I want my RAV4! I need my RAV4!
Are they taking this thing and overhyping it, and then when you see the pace in which these things are coming into Evo and you're seeing all these other issues that are going on?
Yes, they're overhyping it, as they always do. They do the smallest, tiniest thing that a guy in Fiverr does in a...
Really? So we've gone from they don't make any progress in years to small progresses that a guy in Fiverr can do.
Couple hours, and they talk about it for months. Literally, that's what they do. They do the smallest, tiniest thing.
Yes, guys, a guy in Fiverr in a couple hours can bring in full character customizer revamp, Moby Grass rework, star map, interior map, mini map, EVA tier 2, loot screen, new visor, full backpack Reloading, full FPS combat refactor, ammo repooling, dynamic crosshairs, physical shopping UI, server crash recovery. All of this can be done within hours with a single guy on Pfizer. Don't think about it too hard. Just trust him.
You could do in game developing and then overhype the crap out of it.
How do you know? Are you a game developer? Let's have a look. Let's check out. All right, let's go gem reviews. Let's see he's about. Nothing there. There's no about page. There's nothing here. Nothing here. He's only been going for 2 weeks? Or has he just deleted a whole bunch of videos because he was wrong? Who knows? But at the end of the day, like... By the way, also, let's look at the history of the videos, right? Farming pirate armor. Okay. Told you so. Negative. Star Citizen can go bankrupt. Negative. Earn easy dollars with your starter ship. That's positive. Star Citizen quick tutorial for Overdrive Initiative is positive. Star Citizen, a cool chip when changing ships often, is positive. Don't do it. Don't buy the Aegis. Negative. Star Citizen, endless ship sales. Negative. Star Citizen Initiative priority targeting. Right? Yep. Positive. 3.3. More features dropped. Negative. Star Citizen. Prison in Star Citizen changes you as... Right, okay. Star Citizen... Negative. Star Citizen bugs with bugs to play... Yep. Like, there's a lot of negativity on this guy's channel. I'm not saying it's not realistic. I'm just saying that, you know, if you sit here and you listen to Salty Mike a lot, who's also very negative about things.
Talking about it as if it's the greatest thing ever.
Are they going to be able to live up to the hype that they're creating for themselves? And are they digging themselves in this hole again? And to me, I'm not going to answer yes or no yet.
I will. I will. That would be one of the differences. I will, because we all know it's true, and it's just uncomfortable to say it, because...
Just trust me, guys. They're going to do it. It's going to be a failure. Don't take notice of any of the actual patch notes or anything that's actually coming in. Nothing's going to change.
When you say it, you know, the company, you know, doesn't like it, and maybe that's not convenient. But I will say it. No, Mike, no. They will not deliver, because they never do. They always overpromise and underdeliver. And now we're looking at what? Animals? Okay, we have a bird and a dog. Alright, great.
But hang on, you said nothing will change. Didn't you? Nothing will change! By the way, look at these 2 new animals that we got. Nothing will change! Look at new animals. Look at it. Yeah. The whiplash is real, people.
My hope would be that you have something involving, you know, different missions, hunting for different kind of birds. It's going to be the rare bird, and you need a sniper.
We want it now, and we want everything now. Give me everything now. We want all the different birds. But what he doesn't realize is that when you bring in one bird, it's a lot easier to bring in the others. Because guess what? You do all the mechanics, you do all the AI programming and everything, right? You make sure you go through and you get them so that they're working. Now, whether they're working on a server with obviously no low FPS, that's a different issue. But if you can test the AI, and you can test it on a server where you have a decent FPS, and they are working perfectly, or they're working great, then you can go through and you can bring in all the other birds. But guess what? You make sure the first one's friggin' working first.
Sniper rifle, because it's closer than 500 meters, it flies away, and you're spending...
Oh my god, the birds fly away when you approach them. Hang on, let me go check that in real life. Yep, same thing happened. Who would have thought?
A long time looking. No, they will not. You will just have a freaking bird and a freaking dog, and you'll get the horn and you'll sell it for money that you don't actually need. and there's not gonna be.
So there are gameplay loops. I thought you said there were no gameplay.
Anything deeper than that, because you know what real new significant content is? No Man's Sky. The new update of No Man's Sky.
And look, no hate on No Man's Sky, right? But how long between patches? 6, 12 months between patches? Let's actually look it up. Release log, No Man's Sky. Here we go. So 4.63 is... We got dates. February 27th, 4.52. And then 4.51 was February the 15th, right? But the difference between those was just a lot of bug fixing. So the Amiga was put out in February 27th. Right. Holiday Expedition was January 24th. Which was a lot of bug fixing as well. Bug fixing. Okay, can we get to the Echoes? Right. September. No Man's Sky update, especially so second. So still, according to this, a lot of bug fixing. Still bug fixing? Right. So Echoes had like a Secret Society of Robot Aliens in update 4.4. Narrative introduced into the Interceptor, explosion, the missile of the... So basically just new aliens, right? And Echoes came out in August. And then the next major patch is the Amiga update, which came out in February 27th. So what? 5, 6 months? Yeah. And what did they bring in? New aliens. Don't get me wrong, I love No Man's Sky. I think it's great. They really turned that ship around. And that's the point. They had to turn that ship around because when they went release, it was a catastrophe. People were complaining about the game not having in it things that they wanted. But that's your example?
Entire, base is being rebuilt and a completely different aesthetic and new stuff for you to do and...
Give us an example, because all the only thing that you've mentioned is base has been rebuilt. I don't know of any new base mechanics that have come in. Like I said, I don't play a lot of No Man's Sky. I generally don't. At the moment, it's big on Helldivers. But what base mechanics are you talking about? When did they come in? Because, like I said, we just looked up the patch notes then. What we mostly saw was stuff about new aliens, and that was it.
The ships themselves being customizable. That's what a real, heavy-duty, significant patch.
Dude, are you on crack? CIG put out, how many ships a year? And your argument is that CIG aren't putting out ships or aren't putting out heavy-duty patches, but No Man's Sky puts out a patch every 6 months that has a couple of new ships in it, and see, this is supposed to be how you do patches. It's like, dude, we got how many ships last year? It was a slow year? What are they working on at the moment? They're working on the Polaris? The massive, great big ship that's going to be coming into game? Not to mention the Zeus or any other ships that they're working on at the moment?
Significant update involves. I mean, are we crazy? Have none of you?
No, I think you're crazy. I really do. I've played No Man's Sky. Is there any sort of major updates? Yeah. Are they major though? Are they really that major? Don't get me wrong. Love No Man's Sky. No, not swinging at it. But, you know, like, if this is your go-to, is your example of No Man's Sky brings in new ships, and that's a major patch. Well, like, okay, well, your argument is that CIG must bring out some major patches because they got new ships all the time.
The other video game before that you don't know what significant changes in a game are? What a
It's new ships, guys. It's new ships. That's significant.
In MMOs are that you believe that having a dog and a bird and a bigger base for AI to fuck up and screw up and not interact, which is the worst AI in video games right now. That's what.
Actually, a lot of the AI that was actually in Starfield was actually the same stuff that we were seeing in Star Citizen. And Starfield was actually a full release, and Star Citizen is in alpha still. Boop.
You're looking forward to? Okay, I mean,
like how many times did you see? How many times did you see in Star Citizen? Oh, sorry, Star Citizen. How many times in Starfield did you see people standing on chairs and stuff?
They also point out the lies, the problems, and the things that you should be aware of.
But we're not going to give you any examples for that. We're just going to tell you that they're doing it. We're not going to link to any examples. We're not going to prove our point. Just trust me, bro. It's there.
Not get lied to and not get sentimentally scammed, because we cannot say that it's a scam, right? This is
he's one of those. Got it. He's one of those Star Citizens of scammers. Right now, right now we're getting somewhere. He's one of those fellas, people. Yeah.
Scam citizen thing. I won't go that far. It's very close, but I won't go that far.
Yeah.
You need to be aware.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those Star Citizens of scam. But keeps playing Star Citizen and can't seem to put it down, and probably keeps buying ships. But it's a scam! Right, gotcha. Yeah.
I want my viewers to be aware.
He reminds me of one of these guys like 3 years ago that would be sitting there making YouTube videos, which is probably why there's no videos that go back that far, that sit there and go on about how like Star Citizen's a scam. Don't believe it. Don't buy any of the ships.
What Star Citizen really is. Fucking awesome ships. You don't have them anywhere else. But it's also this.
Entirely, because it's hard to say. Because it's kind of why the question that I posed here is pretty stupid. I just really couldn't come up with a title. I was struggling so much.
Mike was very asleep this morning.
Yeah.
Wow, that kind of puts a whole argument. Like your argument is that like, look, even Salty Mike is asking questions, and then Salty Mike is like, look, guys, to be honest, this title is stupid. I kind of couldn't think of anything, so I just made the title. And like Conzi's like, yep, Mike was asleep. He's half asleep, boys. Like, I think his face is kind of really saying something there.
I was struggling with it. It's not a very good discussion topic, but potentially going to deliver on. So it just feels like.
Salty Mike just in 10 seconds did what this guy's argument is what I've been doing for the past 45 minutes.
They're doing the same thing as 1.0. They're so happy with all the things that happened at CitizenCon, but nothing happened yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be
because we haven't got a patch. We're still waiting on the patch to drop. You know, like we had like the one at the end of the year, like for 3.22, which is a December patch, which are always December patch is always small. And now we're waiting on the massive patch that is coming in 3.23. But like I say, I still don't know what he's talking about when he says like, no, this stuff is coming. What are you exactly talking about?
The sandworms and the homesteads and the homes and all and the...
Hang on. Sandworms are never promised in 3.23. The homesteads, you talking about the distribution facilities, use the right name. They're in there as far as we know. You've even just admitted a couple of seconds ago, about 30 seconds ago, that at the end of the day, what's going to be different in 3.23? A couple of creatures and a homestead, or the distribution centers. So they are in the patch. You're contradicting yourself.
The land claims, yeah, okay.
Land claims were never promised for 323, bro. What are you talking about? When did they promise land claims of 323?
When? Those should be things that you talk about in CitizenCon and you deliver the next year. Without
CitizenCon was in September. We haven't even gone 3 months, 3 months into it yet. 4 months, 6 months into it yet. But they literally said at CitizenCon that we are going to start building this tech in January for the base building. So as far as we know, it's happening in the background. We haven't even had 12 months since CitCon yet. Actually, CitizenCon I think was in October. So we had October, November, December, January, February, March. And in that time, the CIG studios were down for Christmas and Easter, by the way. Like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? It hasn't been 12 months.
Without failure, you talk about it, you deliver it. You cannot keep talking about something you haven't delivered 10 years later. That is ridiculous, or it's dishonest, which is what I'm mostly concerned about, which is the dishonest.
Dude, if you're concerned about them not delivering, stop playing the game. This is the stupid argument that you get from some of these CIG backers, right? Oh my god, this game is such a scam. They're not delivering what they want. Or they're not delivering what I want them to deliver. It's a scam. Don't buy the ships. Don't fund the project. But mind you, they can't stop playing it themselves.
That they know, and we all know that they're being dishonest. We just choose to, it's just miscommunication problems. No, let's say it all. Fucking awesome ships, great mechanic, and you don't have the loading screens, and great. But also this, as someone that is considering playing, you need to have all the information, and I will do my best to provide it. Okay, guys?
He's here to save you from making a mistake, guys. Don't buy ships. I believe he actually has a video saying don't buy ships. Yeah, don't be a dumbass. CCU chains to save 7% of money. So he seems to chase a lot of the clickbait titles. But here he says, Star Citizen's firing more people. This game stalled. This is a month ago. I might respond to that video later. But yeah, apparently the game's stalled, guys. At the end of the day, it's the game's stalled. Don't take any notice of the patch notes. The Evocati patch that has all these major changes coming. The game has stalled. That's what he's claiming. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you like these sort of response videos, let me correct the record. Let me know. Apart from that, guys, obviously the video's been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the if you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, have a great night and enjoy.